beautiful people. I hope that you are having an incredible weekend. Today's podcast episode is about repressing emotions and feeling all the feels and not ignoring them, and obviously based on some experiences that I've been through this week, but then I've also seen synchronicities that a lot of other people have been going through the same, and even on a more collective, from more of a collective sense, I have seen messages addressing others around the same thing. So this is my topic for this week. Welcome for those of you who are new. I am Rosanna. I am the host of the Mandala Effect podcast, and it's with this podcast that I hope all of us, as we learn more about our self-development, delve deeper into ourselves, improve our own lives, we can then, we will, and we do then help inspire, elevate those around us and the rest of the world. We are changing the world one soul at a time, and that all starts with you. So, repressing emotions and feeling emotions. This is something I used to be the girl with the resting bitch face. You don't fucking talk to me. I am ice queen. In fact, lots of my boyfriends, ex-boyfriends, I don't just have multiple boyfriends, unfortunately. Previous boyfriends of mine have all said cold-hearted, ice queen, can't break down the wall, and I am so pleased that I am not that woman anymore, because I am learning to feel. We have emotions for a reason. It is part of the human experience. It is actually quite a beautiful thing. And I've known people who have suffered with anxiety and depression and have been on antidepressants. I've never been on them, so this isn't my experience, but have had the experience that they don't feel anything when they're on antidepressants. If anything, and that probably makes them feel worse. They would rather have the roller coaster of the emotions rather than just be completely flat all the time. And even from a kind of different dimension, I've heard people who are in different dimensions, like beings in different dimensions, who say that actually, have the human experience with its range of emotions is a really beautiful thing. So why ignore them? Why squash them down? Because some of them are really painful, and it's the painful ones, obviously, that I didn't want to feel. And we live our lives chasing pleasure and avoiding pain. And I actually posted a quote by the Dalai Lama on Instagram the other day, which is, pain is inevitable, suffering is optional. So again, on the emotional, we don't have to suffer, but yes, we might feel pain, so let's let it flow. I was triggered this week. In fact, before I go into that, I'll go into a story that I saw again on Instagram by that meditation guy. His name's Jimmy. If you are into meditation and you want some inspiring words on your feed, follow him. I'm about to do one of his courses, his Delve Deep course, and I'm really looking forward to that. But he posted about a man in a boat. He went off in his boat onto this lake to meditate. And as he was meditating, he was a few hours in, another person in this boat smashed into him and knocked him out of his meditation. So he came out really angry, and he he came out, sorry, I'm just remembering another experience this week. He came out angry, opened his eyes, ready to shout at the other person to say, why are you bringing me out of my meditation? And it was an empty boat. That there was nobody in it. It was an empty boat. So what this showed him was that anger was already within him, and it was just the empty boat that brought it out of him. So that triggered this emotion. And now whenever he gets angry at anybody, he sees that person as the empty boat, because the anger is already within him. So what I'd like to add to that is, yes, the emotions are within us. They are, so let's let them out. The emotions are already there. We are supposed to have them, and we are also supposed to let them flow. When they flow, they are healthy. When they are bottled up, they manifest in dis-ease, they manifest in physical illnesses, they manifest in mental illnesses, and you know when you've left something in too long and you blow, somebody's been irritating you, little bits and bobs throughout the week, and then you just go off and explode at them. I know I've done that. I'd be very surprised if anybody hasn't done that, and then we're left feeling awful that we let it get that far, but we let it get that far because it is scary to have these emotions. It is painful to have some of these emotions, but when we can be aware and let the emotion, and sit with the energy, sit with the feeling. Don't attach thoughts to the emotion. Don't attach a story to the emotion. The energy will come out of your body and it will dissolve. I've been watching this closely in my meditations recently, and I can feel the energy. So when I feel anger come up, and something will trigger it, so a thought will trigger it, and then I will feel it in my body, but then I let go of the story and I come to the feeling where it is in my body. I meet it and welcome it with curiosity and love, and I just feel it. So I just feel where it is and I feel what it's doing, and then eventually this vibration kind of dissipates. And you can feel it dissolve, not necessarily in your body. It might go into your energetic body, but you feel it just dissolve, and it's really quite a magical feeling. So, and I had an empty boat experience this week actually, because I was meditating and my sister rang me, and I've told my sister, ring me whenever, day or night, whatever, ring me. And she rang me, and I was late for meditating. I'd woken up late, so I was already triggered by that. And then she rang me, and I answered the phone. I was a bit groggy, and I was like, what? And she hung up on me because she thought I was mad at her. And there was anger, but then I guess in a way I had pointed it towards her, but it wasn't meant for her. It was just that anger was already within me, and so I have been triggered a few times this week with anger, and as I rightly should have been. I have had just some experiences that normally I would ignore, and normally I would feel that I was blaming myself and that it was my fault. And I'm also not wanting to blame anybody for the situation, because it is what it is. Everybody has their own story attached to the situation, but how it was dealt with upset me. It made me angry because it didn't sit with my integrity and my belief of what was the right thing to do. And so again, another empty boat situation. The anger was there and I was triggered, and I didn't ignore it, because I used to either get really overly angry and ruminate in it for hours and hours, but quietly, or I would just ignore it. So if I was being taken advantage of, when I should have got angry, I didn't, I ignored it. But then if I was triggered about something, I might ruminate in it, and you know, it wasn't flowing and letting it go. And I had a lot of anger in my body, and I actually believe that cancer helped me get rid of a lot of that in many different ways. So what I did, I went into this situation with awareness, and I got angry because I felt I had been wronged, and normally I would have kind of backed down in this situation, but I allowed myself to get angry. Now I'm quite a zen person now. I'm quite a chill person. I like my I have my my inner peace. I like to keep my inner peace, and I always bring myself back to love. But I knew in this situation I couldn't do that. I knew that I had to feel the anger, and I knew that I had to let it out, because we all have this power within us. We all have an inner fire. We cannot suppress that. We cannot shove that down. Again, it's a part of the human experience. And so I embraced it. I got angry, and I stood my ground, and I stood in my power. And I mean, the situation sort of resolved, but never mind the situation. It's not about the situation. It was about me embracing this feeling of anger that normally I wouldn't want to feel, because we attach a story to it. So if I'm angry, I'm a bad person. If I'm angry, I'm an angry person. If I'm angry, I'm aggressive. If I'm aggressive, that's bad. We attach a judgment and a story, and it's about releasing. When we're looking at our emotions, it's about releasing those stories that we attach to the emotion, and those thoughts that we attach to the feeling. So I just allowed myself to be angry, and yes, I had a rant to my friends, the friends who would understand the rant and the situation. You have to be careful about who you rant to. My meditation master says lots of kind hearts but stupid people. So what he means by that is not everybody will be able to help you or meet you at the level you are on with a certain situation you are in. So anyway, I allowed myself to be angry. I ranted, and I went for a walk, and I got a coffee, and I allowed myself to just be in the anger and see the anger and feel it in me. And it was actually really beautiful, because I was meeting this with love and awareness, which normally I wouldn't be, or not normally, but 2 years ago I wouldn't be. A year ago, maybe not. But I was walking along the harbour, and because I live by the seaside now, I was walking along the harbour, and the waves, the sea was angry. The waves were crashing. They were high, they were tall, they were rough and choppy, and they were smashing at the side of the harbour arm, and it was so amazing to watch. And I was videoing it, and I was going to walk all the way down, but I was like, I'm gonna get wet if I do that. So I didn't. I watched from afar, but I watched in admiration at Mother Nature, and in admiration at the ocean, at the sea, at what was happening, because it was so powerful. It was so magical. Mother Nature doesn't hold back, and neither should we. When we feel an emotion, feel it fully and let it pass through. It will go, because within a few hours I had returned to my my natural state. And I can think about that situation now. I still feel it's unresolved at the moment, so I still feel a little bit of anger, but I'm not angry. And within a few hours that day, I'd returned back to a natural, peaceful state, and you know, I got on with my day, whereas 2 years ago I wouldn't have been able to think clearly. And actually it turned into a rather beautiful day, especially with this experience with the ocean, because what I also noticed was by the evening, stillness on the sea, stillness, no waves, just beautiful. Well, not again, that's beautiful is a judgment that the stillness is, and stillness is beautiful and waves are not, because no, the waves crashing, angry, there was a raw beauty in that. And it was just quite a profound experience, actually. And then there's a theme this week, because the following morning I was triggered again by another empty boat. And it's been really interesting, because all of these experiences have been brought to me to release this emotion and feel the anger and stand in my power. And it's been brought to me to wake me up to something that I have this power and this fire within me, and I need to use it and channel it into something that's going to be productive, something that's going to help serve others, help serve myself. And that is ultimately what I'm doing with this fire. And I was triggered again, and I left a little voice note to my friends, and I said, you know, it is actually an amazing feeling to be angry. I am actually enjoying the anger, because it's an emotion I haven't felt for a while, from a place of power rather than from a place of, and when I say power, I don't mean power over somebody else. I just mean from a place of my power rather than from a place of victim. So it was really actually quite a beautiful experience. And the same goes for sadness. We all love a good cry at a sad movie, as much as we say we don't. The Notebook gets me every time. Maybe I'll watch it tonight. I'm looking for film inspo. But you know, and I used to not be able to watch films that made me cry. Used to not be able to listen to music that made me cry, because the emotions were painful. But again, pain is inevitable, suffering is optional. So it's the story that you attach to the emotions. So where am I going with this? It's important to be aware and let your emotions pass through, because otherwise it leads in stuck emotion, clogged up emotion, doesn't feel nice, feels icky. You're not free in that situation. You're the victim. If you're not embracing your emotions and letting them pass through, then you're kind of missing an opportunity to stand truly and fully in your power, because we are all powerful beyond measure, and it is and emotions are a massive part of the human experience. And it's not about always being zen, it's not about always being peaceful, it's not all about always feeling joy, because that's just not how it works. It is about feeling all of the feels and embracing them and letting them pass through and loving them. Bring the emotions, love, because love is our natural state. We are love. We are unconditional love. And so, yeah, meet the emotions with love. Meditate in silence can really help you get in touch with the emotions that come up. Again, being aware of your thoughts, not attaching stories to the thoughts, not attaching to the thoughts, not attaching stories to the emotion, and just being aware. It will just help you see the emotions, feel them dissolve, when you don't have all of this kind of narrative attached to it. And recognizing what is the ego telling you a story and what is your heart saying, I need you to pay attention to this piece of pain that we have. I need you to pay attention to this anger. So this week it's definitely been my heart saying, Rosanna, you've got to step into this anger. And then and the ego generally will be a bit whiny. The ego will generally be a bit victim-y. So we're stepping out of the victim and into the power. And again, like I said, meet them with love unconditionally. Now I have some fun ways that you can release stuck emotion, because we all have stuck emotion in us. We all have repressed emotion in us. It's just, you know, we've been hiding it since we were teenagers. So, and you know, we can't recognize everything, I don't think. But so some fun ways to release stuck emotion: exercise, whatever that looks like to you. Get your blood pumping, get your body moving. Exercise can be a form of meditation when you're really in the flow, in the zone. And, you know, boxing, great way to release anger, as long as it's not boxing a person, but boxing a bag. You know, it can be a really good way to get rid of the aggression, like just, and step into your fire can be a really good way to step into your fire. Walking in nature. So I'm not going to attach emotions to each exercise, but or each method. But walking in nature, we all know the benefits. Today it had a very different benefit. This week it had a very different benefit to me to watch the waves crashing than if I needed to watch the birds flying softly in the sky. You know. We get different experiences in nature, and she'll give us what we actually need. So walking in nature, being in nature, sitting in nature, toes in sand, toes in grass, toes in water, lying on the grass, looking up at the sky is a great one to connect to a higher power. Dancing in your living room, in your kitchen, dancing on your own, dancing with someone. The only dancing that doesn't really help is dancing when you're drinking, or it does, like dancing and drinking is great fun, but I'm not condoning getting drunk here. So dancing, and today I went to an ecstatic dance, which was amazing and wonderful and so cool. I actually had a bit of a revelation. This is a side note. I actually had a bit of a revelation. When I was a teenager, I used to take ecstasy to feel like this, and now I'm just ecstatic dancing to feel like this. It was quite profound, as unprofound as taking ecstasy is. Singing is a really good way to release emotion. You know, our throat chakra can often get blocked if we're not saying something, if we're holding something back. So opening the throat chakra by singing can really help. And another thing about dancing is it takes negative energy and it literally turns it into positive energy. Breath work, really good for helping realign the nervous system, just really dropping into your body, feeling anything, releasing anything. I'm not a breath work person, I'm a meditation teacher, but breath work is really, really good for getting stuff out. Lots of great techniques online, lots of amazing people to follow. Yoga, different types of yoga. Yin yoga is really amazing, I find, for releasing emotion and returning to a kind of peaceful state. I actually went to a yoga class this week that really triggered me. Didn't enjoy it at all, but I stayed present with it and I sat through it and I felt it, and it'd be by the end of the class it had passed. But we carry a lot of emotion in our tummies and our hips, so if you do like hip opening, another good one, if you do kind of like hip opening exercises, you might feel sadness after, or whatever emotions coming out of you. Obviously, we also tend to hold stress in our shoulders and neck. Massage, great way to release emotion. Actually, anything to do with the body. I could just make this. I could have just made this really short for you. And anything to do with the body and moving the body. And meditation sort of goes without saying. Breathing, listening to what comes up, staying aware. I think this is the main thing throughout the whole, like, if we're going to be looking at emotions, being aware, being kind, being compassionate, and meeting them with love, embracing them, letting them flow through, and meeting them with love. And I think that knowing that it's okay, it's not good or bad, don't judge the emotion, but knowing that we're really powerful when we can fully embrace all emotions and let them pass through, we can reach new heights, we can tap into new power, and you know, we have a fire within us. And that's what I've been taught this week. I have a fire within me. It is not good, it is not bad, it just is, and it is there, and it is power, it is fire to fuel my life. And you have that fire in you to fuel your life. So I hope that this has in some way been helpful for you. I have a new meditation on that you can find on YouTube, which is called Opening to Possibilities. So far it's been a hit, and I'm really, really thrilled with it. It has it's a wonderful journey to help you feel into new possibilities, open yourself and your soul to new possibilities, and bring in something magical. So I'll add the link into the description and you can go and check that out. I'd love to know what you think. If you like it, like, comment. If you like this, like, comment, share, subscribe, do your thing. If you'd like to learn more about working with me one-to-one, be that in meditation, I now host weekly in-person meditation classes in Folkestone, Kent. Again, links are below if you'd like to work with me one-on-one coaching. Links below. We can jump on a 20-minute call and see how I can help you. And yes, we'll go from there. Know that you are powerful. Know that embracing your emotions will open new levels of power for you, and know that I love you and I support you and I believe in you. Have a wonderful, wonderful evening.